Hey everybody, welcome back to this Factorio Let's Play series. We're on episode 6, so let's get going. I'm going to load where we left off from episode 5. Alright, so right now we have automated production of all these materials, and we've set up kind of a starter bus. This is going to let us pull stuff off of our bus that we need. Create more items and occasionally put them back on the bus if they're needed elsewhere. Let's do a little quick inventory management and let's get rid of our wooden chests. We can keep those. We don't need those burner inserters anymore. And let's go dump off some of this stuff. Rocks, stone I mean, iron ore. Let's get rid of some of our coal. And then let's turn these 49 assembling machine 1s into assembling machine 2s. So we'll create a bunch of those. And let's look at our research. So we've recently researched electric energy distribution 1, so we can start creating those types of power poles for when we need them. And we'll probably just queue up some of those. That way we can drag our power over to this part of our base. And let's go ahead and fix our hotbar to reflect that. Let's put we'll put power right through here, and we'll put boxes here. How about that? You can really just do this however you want. And let's make sure we've got some more iron. We've got plenty of steel. Let's grab a little more copper. Okay. And yeah, let's grab some power. Looks like we can grab it from here. Now, if you didn't already know, if you click a power pole and then hold down your button and run with it, it will put it at the maximum distance for that type of power pole. And look at that. That is not right. Oh boy. Okay. We need to fix that. Do we have enough room to fix that? We didn't leave enough space. I didn't leave enough space for these. And that would also go for this. We're off by 1. So let's change this. Make this bigger. And we'll move this over here. Don't want it right next to it. Okay, so let's fix this. Steel needs to go here. Coal needs to go here. Space, space, and then we have our other ones right here. So that needs to come down here. Go down here. And actually, I think we were going to go like this and leave. We're close. Yep. and then leave one more, and then we still have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's right. Okay. All right. Looks like we got a little bit more cleanup then. Sorry about that. Welcome to Factorio. And I could just dump these in a chest, but let's put them in here. Okay. Not too bad. Oh, no, that was right. Okay. We can pick this up. And we'll grab it next time. Okay, so our goal now is to add some items to our bus, and then we can use that to start making like a mall. And I thought about originally doing this to just use this pattern that I've already had, but that might not be as helpful to a new user who is maybe wanting more in the way of like general strategy or approach to building things. And so And so I thought it might be helpful to just show how you might approach a problem rather than just dropping down a blueprint, because that's just not as fun. So what we want to do is create green circuits. Now, when we looked at our earlier build up here in our mini mall, our little kiosks, we had green circuits automated, but they weren't in the correct ratio. And ratios are kind of an important part of Factorio if you want your base to run smoothly and not run into issues where you're not producing enough stuff. So if we look here where we're producing circuits for these three, we're only feeding them with one copper assembler, and that's not enough. They actually need 1.5. And the way you can tell that is by looking at what's required. So you can produce, in 1 second, you can produce 2 electronic circuits because they each take a half second. So if we look at it on a second basis, you can produce 2. Now, in order to produce 2, you're going to need 3 copper cables times 2. So you're going to need 6. So then they say, all right, well, let's look at copper cables. Well, for copper cables, I can produce 4 every second. So if I can produce 4, but I need 6, then I need more than 1. But if I have 2, I'm going to be producing 8. And then I can use the 6 that I need for the circuits, but I'm left with 2 copper cables. So what you're trying to do is, when you've got ingredients like this, is you find the least common multiple, which is 2 times 3, which is 6. So it's basically, I need 6 of these, which is going to produce 12 copper cables. And in order to consume all 12 copper cables, I'm going to need 2 of these, because each of them will consume 6. So 2 green circuit assemblers will consume 12 copper cable, and I need 3 copper cable assemblers to produce that 12. So this is really, really common. So it could be about here. This is really, really common, is 3 and 2. That way, these will produce all of the copper cable that those need. Okay, so there's a lot of ways that you could design this. The simplest is to kind of do what we did up above and say, all right, I need copper cables feeding into those, and this one gets all of these, and it gets some of those, and the same with this. It gets all of these, and it gets some of those. So there you go. Like this. So it gets all of those, half, all of those. So I am going to need copper up here, and I'll probably want to grab copper with these as well, the blue ones. We should probably queue up. Okay, so we know we need copper running through here. Okay, and now these will grab a copper cable. They also need iron, so we can have iron running through here. Now, that if we're going to output these, then we want to be able to output these, maybe on a belt going like this. Okay. Now, we can use reds to do that, but these red-handed inserters, they can't keep up with these producing. They can't keep up with how many these screen circuits will produce. And so you could remedy that situation by saying, well, I'll put a set of two. So these will grab iron, and these will all output right here. And that's fine as well. You could totally do that. Something else you could do is say, okay, I'm going to create some space here so that the iron can go through, but that I can still output onto this belt. Oh, we forgot to grab stuff. Let's go top off our belts, and that we've got plenty of those. So this is kind of where your own personal preference or creativity comes into play. Definitely like a problem-solving element or skill that you can develop is just to say, all right, how do I do this? And I really think that's the fun part of Factorio, is to be like, how can I, first of all, get this to work? And then once I've got it to work, maybe how can I even optimize this? So let's look at one way that might get this to work. Oh, we can drop this off over here. Do not like stuff in my inventory that I don't need. Okay. So one thing you could do is put these undergrounds to create some space, and then you could run the belt like this, and that would work. But we probably want to put assemblers on this side of the belt as well. So they've got their own iron line running through. And we can copy the formula here. So it's like, well, these guys also want to put them on the belt as well. How do we do that? Oh, that's a good question. We could do something like this. Let's see, what could we do? We could do something like this, and that would work. But, so they both output like this, and they both input like this. Oops. And that works. But then, well, let's say we wanted to extend this and create another line like this. That could probably work just like that, because these are going to add onto this belt. As long as there's space, they'll be able to input the circuit. So you know what? We could just do something kind of as simple as that. So let's make sure this works. Let's get rid of all this. I'm just holding right click to get rid of those and dragging around. A faster way to do that would be to do the deconstruction planner. Okay, so that could work. Let's try that. So now we need to get some iron in here. So we'll just grab off this belt. And we want another line of iron. So we'll grab off this belt. And then this can hop over. Okay, now we need some copper. Okay, and we'll need copper here. that's looking pretty good. So there are tons of different ways you could have done this. You could have used some splitters, inputting into some splitters. You could input them on the side like this and have these then connect with this right here. But this was fine. Let's get some power to it. Oh, and make sure we've got all those. Okay, and then our output is going to go over here. Okay, now I'm splitting this because we might need some circuits up here for building out kind of a mall. All right, let's power this on and see if it works. Okay, so we need those, 1, 2, something like that. Sweet, green circuits. Okay, so first we want to check and say, are these getting enough? Yes, they're getting materials enough that it can keep up with what's being consumed. So as long as you've got this flashing this way, it works. Anytime something turns red, it's basically saying, hey, I need this and I don't have enough, or somebody is I don't have this quick enough, but this is working. This is creating all that it needs. We can see there's a surplus of cables. So look at that. That works. That's pretty cool. Okay. So why don't we add another one of those? So let's copy this, and we can just basically line it right up next to that one and then fill it in. Start with power. Okay, we have assembly machines, outputs, inputs, okay, assembly machines, now inserters. Look at that, you can just kind of, oop, these go this way, and these are outputs, and these are inputs. Make sure we got those right. Okay, sweet. So then a question is, oh, well, okay, how many of these do we actually need to build to have like a full thing going? And one thing you can do is say, all right, in order to do, if I'm crafting every 0.5 seconds, so I'm crafting 2 a second, and I want to fill up a yellow belt. If I look on the yellow belt, it can transport 15 items per second. So if I did 8 assemblers, that would be 16 items per second, roughly. But if we look at these blue assemblers, their crafting speed is only 0.75. So 8 is not quite enough to fill up a yellow belt. So if we did 12, that might be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we add one more of these, I think that's enough to completely fill up a yellow belt. We'll try it out here. Okay, gonna need some more blues. Pretty soon we'll build a little mall to do those. And Okay. Now, if you didn't notice, what I did in order to copy that design was to hit Control C and just dragged over the elements that I wanted. And that creates this little pasteable blueprint. And then you just simply hit Control V. Before you paste it, you can manipulate it. Like you can hit the R key to rotate it. You can hit the F to flip it, and it flips it right to left, like including the orientation of the belts. You can also hit the G, which they call the glip, and it won't really make sense here, but the glip actually rotates it top to bottom and flips it around that way. Okay, so that is a belt of green chips. Hooray. Now, we can get into how much lanes you need going in, but basically if you look at the recipe for this, if I want a belt of green chips going out, I need 1 belt of iron and I need 1.5 belts of copper. So I have 2 right now. I've got 2 iron and I've got 2 copper. So that's enough to output 1 whole belt. Now, if I want to get another lane of this, I'm probably going to have to duplicate this whole thing like this. Now, with some planning, what we may have been able to do is instead of putting both sides inputting on the same belt is to run another belt of green in between, and then we can have 2 going out. So how would we do that? Let's actually take a look at how we might do that. Because otherwise we have to double up this entire blueprint down here. And that's not a big deal. We can do that. It just, we could probably accomplish the same thing if we planned it out a little bit more. So let's see what we might come up with to do that. We're going to take this out, take these out. And say, okay. It's like, okay, what if we want to actually get 2 belts going out? How can we accomplish that? So let's take a look. All right, so we'll probably keep our input and we'll keep this output. Okay, so these are all actually working. We actually have this working fine, but now we need to get these greens down here, and we want to fill both sides of the belt. So maybe what we could do is output these on the side like this and run a belt down this way. So that would put them on both sides of the belt. And then instead of having our undergrounds for our iron through here, if this is coming down this way, if we just go straight onto the belt, it will only load it on the top, or if we're going this direction, the right side. But if we go like this and put a splitter, then it will evenly fill this belt. And maybe let's make it a little like fancy like that. How about that? So now if we do this here, this one only has, this is only going to put on this outside, this left side, but if you're moving in the direction of the right side, these always put on the opposite side of the belt. But the very last one will do the same thing. It's going to put on, you can see where it's putting it here. So when these two get merged together, they'll even out. Okay, so let's keep going with this and see if this will work. Okay, so far so good. Now we just need to make sure that we can get power, or not power, but iron as well. So let's go like this. Oops. That shouldn't be too bad because all we need to do is now use an underground to hop over this like that. And we can't quite get over this. So what if we go like this and make it like that? So let's see, space. Oh, I don't think I went the full distance on this. That's the full distance. So what if we go here? Just trying to see if I can get it symmetrical. It might not work. That's okay though. Okay, so now we can still grab iron. Okay. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we have enough to fill up a half of iron, or a half belt of green circuits. Let's get rid of this. Oh. How about we give these some of our copper cables? Clear up space so we can grab this underground we got left. If you want to grab up something that's on the ground, like if you drop some stuff, you use the F key and run over it. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Let's extend this by, let's double this. Okay, so that will give us 12 assemblers. Got some nice trees here. And that will produce a full belt. Now, oops. Let's watch what happens as we get closer. Oops. Oops. Okay, there's that. Here's all our assemblers. Okay, and now we need our chip circuit assemblers. We need our undergrounds. So when I'm building these, sometimes I hit Q to grab whatever my mouse is over, and sometimes I hit 1 and 2, because this box represents 1 on your keyboard, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you hit the X, it will cycle through these. And whatever's on top, like now if I hit 1, it's going to grab an inserter. So sometimes I do 1 and 2, and sometimes I just, sometimes I grab with the Q key. Okay, we're just going to get this all filled in. Okay. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 assemblers producing blue chips. Let's see if the copper can keep up. So I'm going to put a chest here and just put a whole bunch of chips in, and we want to see what happens if we just sit and hold this and suck up all the chips. Because we definitely have enough iron. We know we need 1 iron, but according to the ratio, we need 1.5. We need 1.5 lanes of copper to completely fill a belt. Now these might have some copper already in them, like a buffer, and we just want to see if we truly need that one more lane or another half lane. Okay, so let's see what happens. So here we have our one lane coming in, and we want to see if this is going to get all the way to the end. And the way that we do that is by continually emptying this copper belt. Because if they don't get all the way to the end, we don't have enough copper going through to fully support like this whole line. It looks pretty iffy. It looks like we're getting about 2/3 of the way there. So these last 6 are not getting copper. So we really do need 1.5 lanes if we want to keep this belt full the whole time. Okay, so let's copy this. And if we rotate it, everything's going to be backwards. But if we use the G and clip it, it's going to go like that. Okay, so this is enough to produce 2 yellow belts of circuits. So we know we would need another line going in here, just coming here, and we know we need copper coming in here, right? And it's gonna hop over this like that. So we need it like right here. Okay, that's fine. So there's 1, 2, but we also need 3 lanes. We need 1.5 times 2. So we need 3 lanes going in. So now that this is backed up, because we're not consuming it, yeah, the copper's going to get to the end of the lane. But if we're consuming a full belt of green in our factory somewhere, this won't be able to keep up without some extra copper. So what we can do is add an extra copper. Let's see, how do we want to do that? Let's add it up here, and we'll put it right here. Okay, we've got too much copper. Let's drop some, because we're dumping stuff on the ground. Okay. Okay, so what I've done is basically said this first lane's going here. This second lane is coming here, and we're going to split it between these two. And this third lane is coming here. So now we want to be able to split this lane between both of these. So if we start with a splitter, we could do that. And we can run this one down here. Okay. And this one, what we can do is actually run through these. We might not be able to reach that way. So, is there a way that we can get through all those? We can always just go on the back side. How about that? Not the best looking, but that's okay. Okay, so we know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We know this line will get all the way here. And after that, it needs some more help. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this one in to help compensate. And we'll do the same thing over here. Okay, so this will, when we build this out, we'll go over here and do the same thing. Like that. So now if we were to be consuming all of these chips, this would feed it. Okay, there we go. This is probably a good place to stop. We've been going for a while. So that's our green chip episode 6. So this is just honestly one way to do it. It's kind of on the fly. I mean, some stuff is tried and true, like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But there's lots of other ways you could do it. You could do something like this. This is a pattern I was fiddling with where you've got green circuits here and you've got these going on like this, I think. And you can run, your irons going this way like that so that these can grab. And then you've got inserters that are sharing that one. I think actually this needs to be closer like this. And then we're going to run, copper through the same way like that. So these are grabbing iron, and then in order to output, we're going to output like this, and we're actually going to do the same thing where we've got an output going like this. So this is a design that I came up with, and this was just in an effort to try and be compact. I wanted to try and make a really skinny way to make all of the circuits, and this ended up working. So as long as you've got your inputs of iron and copper, it works. And then you can copy it and hit the G so these coppers are lined up, and you can run that supplementary copper line. So you have 1, 2, 3, which is the 1.5 times 2 to get 2 full belts. You could do something like that. And so that was just one that I fiddled and came up with. Took me a while to get everything right, so it definitely wasn't in a game where I was trying to rush and just do something quick and easy. But it was fun to come up with something unique and a kind of a challenge to say, hey, how skinny can I make this? So that was fun. All right, we'll take this down. So we've got one full lane here, and I think what we'll do now is use that to start building out some kind of a mall over here that's going to produce more of the basic items that we need. Let's put brick on here that we need for our base. So the one thing that we didn't do is lights. So let's see where we could throw some lights in here. We could put one next to each of these poles. And we could put one right here. And just make that a little bit more visible. Cool. All right, let's end it there. This is episode 6. We did a little green circuit build. Hopefully that was helpful in terms of how you approach tackling something new, how you might plan it out. And we'll see you next time for episode 7, where we start building out this mall. Take care. Save the game. Let's save it. Episode 6, where we left off. Okay, and we'll see you next time.